So, recently, actually it might even be a month ago at this point, I uploaded a video of myself doing 3-star. And I wanted to use that as a start off point for a bouldering series, essentially. And I got a comment on that particular video. It was from David Kirkslager. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And he said, "I'd love to see your process for sending boulders. Watching someone send a boulder gives me ideas for how to send that boulder, but it doesn't really help me send the boulders I'm working on, unless we're working on the same boulders. Your process, however, could help me send boulders you've never seen." And I think he means we've never seen. But I don't know, I think I get the gist of it. Interestingly enough, that comment kind of had me thinking. Yeah, I think I initially perceived it as being a question about what inspires me to get on a specific boulder. Now, I think he's alluding more towards like a traditional bouldering video format where you get to see, like you're chuffing, you're getting a little further, and eventually you send it, and that's when you write in the whole title and everything else that comes with those traditional videos. But, and I didn't really want to fall into that trope, I suppose, with what I was doing. And he also made this comment before I uploaded Fluffy Little Clouds, which was, I think, more closer to what I wanted to do. However, I think there's some merit behind what he's saying. Now, the problem with doing that is it involves me basically filming every attempt I make on a boulder. Which is hard because a lot of times I'm projecting boulders for years. Like Bocal, that took me, it wasn't continuously, but that took me, geez, like 6 years to do, or something like that. And like my beta will wildly change from the first attempt to the last attempt. But 2020 has been a very bizarre year, as it has for everybody. What makes it kind of bizarre for me is my initial climbing goals. I mean, they just got thrown out the window. So, I just sort of bailed. I bailed to the new people I know, lots of amazing climbing. And the year started out, at least the climbing year started out, where suddenly I started hitting all these life objectives in terms of hard climbing, and I wasn't intending to do hard climbing this year. It just sort of happened, and the first big accomplishment was hitting 8A, or sending pod, which is 13B, and the second one, most recently, was getting 40 ounces of justice, which was, the goal wasn't to do the climb specifically, it was to do a climb in the Manus Cave. I had my reasons for that, but that was a life goal. That totally was. And doing 40 was a very eye-opening experience for me. So it took me about, I want to say it was like 5 or 6 weeks to actually, and it wasn't like, I mean, I was probably averaging maybe like 3 sessions a week, I would say. I don't know how many attempts that end up being, but I mean, you get like at most 3, usually around 2 attempts a session. But I had never, I guess the best thing I can say is I've never worked anything like that. But in 2018, which is when I started the whole van life thing and like traveling around and just climbing full time essentially. There was a big reevaluation of my philosophy on how to project, I suppose, or my approach to projecting, I guess is a better way to say that. And this sort of culminated with a conversation with Brittany Goris in, I think it was October of that year, out in Smith Rocks, and she offered some perspective on projecting and how you approach like long-term projects or mega projects maybe. I don't think I gained an appreciation for that until I started working on and finished 40 Ounces of Justice. A big part of that is expectation more than anything else. So that bring me to now. This guy, that's Andrew's roof. We got 8A. We got 40 ounces, or the Madness Cave. If I truly wanted to complete the triple crown of hard climbing for myself, this is my own triple crown, this would be the last objective. And I went back to Pennsylvania to vote, and got some work done, got a little money in the account, and well, I have a couple days to kill. And I figured, why not go for it? Why this? So the Buddha, which is on the back side there, that was the first bouldering project I ever took on outside, like in terms of like a long-term project. And it was only 3 sessions, spread out over like 18 months, I think is what it took to actually send it. But this thing was on the other side, and it was very imposing and intimidating, and it just looked absolute damn near impossible. And even when I was working on the Buddha, this one guy showed up and tried it, and he like just flailed on it. And in my mind, it was like this just impossible hard thing. And getting all the way back to like what inspires me on a climb, and it's not just bouldering, it's any climb, and where the whole triple crown for myself came from, it was accomplishing the impossible. And in a lot of ways, that's kind of like that's one of the reasons, one of the main objectives to the channel is opening up the possible. So yeah, I don't really have any expectations with this. I am confident on it though, and given the other 2 accomplishments for the year, well, why not go for it, you know? It's gonna be fun. So I'm only gonna dedicate maybe 2 days to this, 3 days to it. We'll see where we get, but I'll film it along the way, and you get to see the whole process of me trying to work this thing out. So here goes.
Ba
Okay, so turns out that that hold right there is really not good. But I think more importantly, I gotta figure out how to get my left toe somewhere up so I can actually get some weight on it. Because right now I'm entirely pushing this right, but it sinks my hips into the wall. I'm dropping my left foot out, so I can't. I don't know. I have to watch the video, I guess. I can't see where to reach with my left hand, but it seems like too far behind me. So I gotta figure that one out. Oh, Lordy. Work it out. Oh, man. How do I do that? It's hard to avoid. This was a concern, like, before I even got here. That's why I actually borrowed some pads from a friend of mine. I don't want to hurt myself. Like, I just don't. I'm not interested in, like, risking limbs here over sending this thing. So, like, part of my hesitation in actually pulling these initial moves is the fall, and I'm just sort of like testing that out as I do it. Everything too is like, this is one of the reasons why I have like no illusions or expectations with this thing, is I haven't been bouldering. I have not been bouldering at all. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So things feel hard just because, I mean, they are, but yeah. But yeah, I'm still working out. Like, I think I've been using this as a right toe, and it's awesome, and I can get perched up on it, get that really bad undercling. The problem is I'm really scrunched up at that point, and I need to get a left toe. I don't know, I think ideally I can get one up in here, but I mean, there's for my left hand. There's the right hand. That's real. I'm like crab walking at that point. So, I mean, if it's necessary to have that good of a left toe, then what I've got to do is use a right toe either closer to me or further underneath me, which is going to make that feel a lot harder. And that thing's already pretty difficult. The other thing I'm realizing, I mean, I've seen a video of somebody doing this. Actually, he's a friend of mine, but and I haven't talked to him. But I kind of thought initially that moving off of this hold up would be like the crux, but I think it actually might be the move I'm trying to make. That hold looks really bad, but because it's on the end of the roof, it's kind of like that hold on Fluffy Little Clouds. That was like, it looks bad, but actually feels bomber because of the angle you're going at it. I think that might be the same deal. Because I'm tall enough, like, if I can establish a right toe here where I'm putting my left, or here maybe, I think the reach out to this hold won't be so bad. And that hold,
I mean, that holds really good. You can tell it's just really good. So, you know, and if this is the crux, what I'm doing right now, that's actually kind of good because it's right off the ground essentially. It's only what, like 2 or 3 moves into the problem. Does mean it's going to be really hard, which isn't boding well for me. But well, you know, hey, let's just. If you want to climb hard stuff, you got to climb hard stuff. So we'll just keep working at it. Okay. All right. Well. Oh. Got a marginal discovery, but generally when I'm doing hard boulder problems, this is how it goes. So this is a good thing on this guy, which is, so before I was hitting towards the right where majority of the chalk is. Turns out if you go further out to the right, or I'm sorry, I was hitting more to the left here. If you go out further to the right, it actually, there's a little bit more of an edge to it. And I can pull back a little better, which allows me to get my foot up. So now where I'm putting my foot, I don't know yet, but we'll work that out. But this is good. This is progress. Yeah, I mean, like, ideally I can get it all the way up to here, but right now that's in my chest. So take a little break, and then we'll take some more burns. Oh my Lord. Maybe. Boy. So the righter spot, yeah, the spot more right, definitely feels better. Doesn't make it good, but it's better. Yeah, I'm still struggling to try and get that left toe up on something. I haven't really, I mean, if you pay attention, you can see like the rubber laid in on that guy. This is a bunch of chalk on it, and I'm kind of unsure as to the point of that. What I mean by that is, like, I don't know if people are like brushing that spot for a foot or using it as a hand. I just don't know what the point of using it as a hand for anything. Though if you look in here, you can see this hold. So maybe people are like, maybe I'm starting this problem wrong. Which, by the way, I don't know if I'm starting it correct. I just, you know, it just seems like a natural thing. I don't know, if I started here, what would that mean, really? Yeah, I guess I would bump right hand to this and then go to the ledge. Yeah, I suppose I really don't know what's the proper way to start the thing. I'm not going to change, though. I mean, I don't know. If I figure out the roof, the principal roof, which is absolutely the crux, then no, we'll do it from there. That doesn't look. It doesn't look very hard to do it this way. But yeah. So the challenge right now is to figure out that left toe. right, day one recap. Pretty good, actually. It was a very productive day. I didn't quite get as far as I thought as I would have liked. Though that said, the crux was in a very different spot and it's a very different thing. So, I mean, I've seen a video of somebody doing this once before, and I mean, he's super strong, so it's hard to discern what exactly is hard. But I was initially thinking that the crux was going to be essentially pulling the lip of the roof. You get the left hand out onto the lip, and then establishing a right hand, and then you have to cut the feet. So I was thinking that cutting the feet would be a crux, and then the next move. So you have to bring like a high, I don't know if it's going to be a toe or a heel quite yet, and then you got to make like an off hand move to another hold. Looking at that from the ground, I'm pretty sure that's not going to be a big deal. So the crux is probably where I'm stuck at, or at least specifically the move I'm attempting to make, and then the next move, next hand move. So right now, the initial moves are not hard, but then you go right hand into this just very poor crimp in the roof. Now there's a chalked up like spot that it's obvious that's what a lot of people use. But I don't think that's the best spot to use. If you go further to the right of that, there's a little divot that works great for your index finger, and then there's a crimp, and it's positive. That doesn't mean it's good. It's just positive in the direction you're pulling it. And what I'm really struggling with right now is trying to bring my left foot up to a point where I can lock my body in to make the reach left hand. So when you bring it's just very, very scrunched up for me right now. I think it's one of those kind of problems where this move is easier for shorter people, but like the next move is easier for taller people. So it's give and take. Like that isn't why it's hard. It's hard because it's a V10. I mean, that's just what it is. Which, by the way, I discovered it's no longer called Andrew's Roof. In my guide, it's called Andrew's Roof. Where is my guide? Right here. So let me see if I can find this sucker. There's a great picture of Lynn Hill doing it. Andrew. Oh, that's a good start. Andrew Roof, V9/10. So I guess now I got a chance to actually look at the newer guide. And it's established V10, and it's now called the Freak. News to me. So yeah, I'm working on a V10 called the Freak life project, but didn't know the name of it. Anyway, so but honestly, overall, I felt a lot better than I thought I would. And that's conditions today were pristine up until it started raining and it got really humid. But the temps were perfect, and surprisingly, there was nobody there. The last half of the day, one other climber showed up, and then we were working on our prospective projects. Both made progress. Psych was good. Psych was high. It was fun. It was a really good day. I had a good time. So I'm sort of debating right now, or juggling, whether I want to do a rest day tomorrow and then try it on Tuesday, or do I get back on it tomorrow? I'm not really sure. It might just depend how I feel. My skin was starting to get raw, but honestly, it feels
a lot better than I expected, so it just might be like muscle fatigue more than anything else. And if that's the case, I'll totally get on it tomorrow. Um, yeah, I've got to really focus on when I get that undercling on the roof. It's keeping my hips out from the wall. It's really easy to get perched up on that right toe, but the problem is it locks my hips into the wall, and I have no room to bring that left toe, the left foot up to get to a good like spot to make it useful. So the trick is to really keep the hips out. The problem is everything is on that right hand and that bad crimp in the roof. The crimp at the back of the roof is it's good if you're pulling down on it, but the problem is like once you start getting off, you can't get any opposition to make it work for you. So it's all in that right hand, and it's a small hold, and that's a lot. So, but that's okay. I mean, it kind of took me half the day to figure that out. So, which is good. I got my foot up once, twice, kind of twice. That's progress. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not feeling bad. Like things were good. I'll wait out the rain and home base here, and then see how conditions are tomorrow morning, and then we'll give her another go. So, yeah, yeah.